My name is Emily, and I never thought motherhood would divide my family. If anything, I imagined it would bring us closer. You know, new babies usually mean joy, love, and a sense of togetherness. But in my case, the moment I held my little boy in my arms, I had no idea I was about to step straight into one of the most painful family conflicts of my life. Before I get into what happened, let me tell you a little bit about my family because that context matters. My mom passed away when I was still young, and my dad remarried. His new wife, my stepmom, came with a daughter of her own. That's how I ended up with a stepsister. We were never really close, not like those picture-perfect sisters you see on TV. Our relationship was complicated. And to be honest, sometimes it felt like a competition we never agreed to enter. She was a year older than me, sharper with her words, and always seemed to carry this heavy chip on her shoulder. Growing up, I often felt like I was walking on eggshells around her. If I had something good happen, she would find a way to downplay it. If she had something bad happen, she somehow made it my fault, or at least acted like I was rubbing my good fortune in her face. When she became a mom before me, I really thought things might change between us. I thought motherhood might soften her edges, and maybe we could bond over late-night feedings, diaper blowouts, and the overwhelming mix of exhaustion and love that only new moms understand. But that's not what happened. Her baby, my nephew, was born with special needs. I don't want to get into too many medical details, but he requires a lot of care. More than most babies his age. From the very beginning, I noticed how differently the family treated him. At first, everyone was polite, cooing at him in the hospital, buying a few gifts. But as weeks turned into months, that energy faded. People stopped visiting as much, conversations shifted away from him. I could see the pain in my stepsister's eyes. She wanted people to celebrate her son like any other baby. She wanted the world to love him, but instead, she found herself battling not just exhaustion, but also this aching loneliness. And somehow, in her mind, I would eventually become the target of all that frustration. Fast forward to last week. That's when my own baby arrived. My pregnancy had been smooth, thank God, and delivery, while not easy, went as well as it possibly could have. I can't even describe the flood of emotions when I heard his first cry. Relief, love, fear, gratitude, everything at once. When it was time to be discharged, the hospital surprised us with something called a baby box. It was part of a local charity initiative in my area, something I didn't even know existed before I gave birth. Basically, it was a sturdy little box that came with a mattress inside, turning it into a safe sleeping space for newborns. It also included some essentials: tiny clothes, diapers, wipes, a thermometer, even a soft blanket. It wasn't just practical, it was thoughtful. And for a new mom who didn't have it all figured out yet, it felt like a small miracle. I was genuinely touched by this gesture, not just for myself, but for what it meant for other women in my community. I knew there were moms out there who didn't have much support, who might be struggling to afford even the basics. This box could mean the world to them. So, in my excitement, I took a picture of the box and my baby snuggled beside it, and I made a post on Instagram. The caption was simple, something like, "So grateful for the baby box program here in our area. New moms, check this out. Such a beautiful initiative to help us and our babies thrive." I didn't think twice. To me, it wasn't bragging. It was awareness. It was gratitude. It was joy. But within a few hours, my phone buzzed with a notification that shifted everything. It was a message from my stepmom. Short, direct, almost scolding. She told me I should take down the post. She said it was wrong for me to show it off because her daughter, my stepsister, had been really upset after seeing it. At first, I was confused. Why would my stepsister be upset over a baby box? Then, not long after, I got a message from my stepsister herself. Her words still sting when I replay them in my head. She wrote, "Wow, When I had my son, all the hospital sent me home with was some maxi pads and a bill. Must be nice to have everything handed to you while I struggle with a special needs baby that nobody cares about. I just stared at my phone. My joy turned into this heavy knot in my chest. I felt guilty, even though I hadn't done anything wrong. I wanted to highlight something positive, something helpful, but in her eyes, it was like I had personally attacked her. I didn't take down the post. A part of me felt stubborn, like, why should I erase my joy because she was bitter? But another part of me, the softer, guilty part, kept questioning myself. Was I insensitive? Did I unknowingly rub salt into her wounds? And that's when it started. The blame, the accusations, and the unraveling of a family bond I thought maybe, just maybe, motherhood could heal. After that first message, things didn't calm down. If anything, they only got worse. My stepsister started making little digs at me in group chats. If I shared a baby picture, she would respond with something sharp like, "Must be nice when your baby actually sleeps at night. Some of us don't get that luxury."
I told myself she was just tired, that she was lashing out because she was overwhelmed. I knew caring for a special needs baby was hard, harder than most people could imagine. So I gave her grace. I bit my tongue. I told myself, don't make it about you. But inside, I was hurting. I wanted to celebrate being a new mom. I wanted to share my joy without feeling like I was stabbing her in the heart every time I posted a picture. And yet every time she saw me smile, she acted like it was a personal attack. One night, about a week after the Instagram post, she called me. At first, her voice was quiet, almost trembling. "Do you ever stop to think about me? About my baby?" she asked. I hesitated, caught off guard. "Of course I do. I love your son. He's my nephew." "Then why do you have to show off every little thing you get? Do you know what it feels like to come home from the hospital with nothing but a broken body, a screaming baby, and bills stacked up on the counter? And then I go online and see you bragging about free gifts and easy sleep and everyone congratulating you? Do you know how that feels?" Her voice cracked, and for a moment I heard the pain underneath the anger. But then her tone hardened again. "You don't get it. You'll never get it. You had everything handed to you. And me? I had to fight for every diaper, every ounce of formula, every hour of sleep. And on top of that, I have a baby no one wants to talk about. Do you know what people say behind my back? That my baby is broken? That he'll never live a normal life? And you get to be the shiny, happy mom that everyone celebrates?" I didn't know what to say. My throat tightened. My eyes burned with tears. I'm sorry," I whispered. "Sorry doesn't fix it," she snapped. "Sorry doesn't make me feel any less invisible. Sorry doesn't take away the fact that my son will always be treated like he's less than yours." After that call, I sat in silence for a long time, just rocking my baby and staring at the wall. Her words cut deep. It wasn't just jealousy. It was grief. Grief for the life she thought she would have. Grief for the acceptance her son deserved but didn't always get. But here's the thing. Instead of turning that grief into love or support, she turned it into blame. Blame directed at me. The breaking point came at a family dinner a few weeks later. My dad had invited everyone over, hoping to celebrate the new grandbaby. I was nervous, but I thought maybe, just maybe, we could put the tension aside for one evening. Dinner started off okay. People passed the dishes around, made small talk. My baby was sleeping in his bassinet nearby, and for once, I felt a little normal. But then my stepsister walked in, already looking exhausted and tense. She sat down, glanced at my baby, and muttered just loud enough for everyone to hear, "Of course he's perfect." The room went quiet. My heart dropped. Then, without warning, she launched into it. Do you know what it's like to watch everyone coo over her baby while mine barely gets noticed? Do you know how it feels when your own family acts like your child is a burden? And then she pointed at me, has the nerve to post online about gifts and blessings while I drown in hospital bills and sleepless nights? I froze. Everyone's eyes were on me, waiting for my response. My dad looked uncomfortable. My stepmom crossed her arms as if silently siding with her daughter. My voice shook as I finally spoke. I'm not trying to hurt you. I never was. I was just sharing something I was grateful for. That's all. I love your son. I wish things were easier for you. Don't say you love him, she cut me off, her voice sharp. If you loved him, you wouldn't rub your happiness in my face every chance you get. You wouldn't make me feel less of a mother because my baby isn't like yours. Her words hit me like a slap. Less of a mother. That's what she thought of herself. And somehow she was making it my fault. I couldn't stop the tears anymore. They slid down my cheeks as I whispered, I never wanted to compete with you. I never wanted this to be a war. But it didn't matter. She stormed out of the room, her baby crying in her arms. My stepmom glared at me as if I just committed some unforgivable sin. And I sat there, broken, with everyone's silence pressing down on me like a weight I couldn't carry. That night, I lay awake, with my baby on my chest, crying silently while he slept peacefully. For the first time since becoming a mom, I felt ashamed of my joy. I questioned whether I even deserved to feel happy when my sister was drowning in pain. But deep down, a voice whispered, her pain isn't your fault. Her struggle isn't because of you. I didn't believe it yet, but those words would later become the seed of the truth I needed to survive. In the days after that dinner, I kept my distance. I didn't post much online. I didn't reach out to my stepsister. I just focused on my baby and tried to find some peace in the chaos. But guilt has a way of gnawing at you. Every time I looked at my son, a part of me wondered if I was being selfish, if maybe I was flaunting my happiness, if maybe I should dim my light just to make her feel better. One night, I sat down with a notebook and started writing. At first, it was just my feelings, raw, messy, unfiltered. But as I wrote, it turned into a letter I never planned to send, but one I needed to write. In it, I told my stepsister, I see your pain. I see the battles you fight every single day. I can't imagine how heavy it must feel to carry that weight. But please believe me when I say your son is not less. He is not broken. He is worthy of love and celebration just as much as mine. But I also can't keep apologizing for my joy. My happiness doesn't take away from your struggles. My baby's milestones don't erase your son's worth. We are both mothers now. Our journeys look different, but neither of us is less because of it. Writing those words was like releasing a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. I never did give her the letter, but I carried its message in my heart. And slowly, I began to heal from the guilt. I began to accept that two truths could exist at the same time. She could be hurting, and I could be happy. Her grief didn't cancel out my joy. My joy didn't erase her grief. Eventually, I reached out. Not with a confrontation, but with a quiet gesture. I dropped off a meal at her doorstep with a note that simply said, thinking of you. Here if you ever want to talk. She never directly responded, but weeks later she sent me a picture of her son smiling, with no words attached. For us, that was progress. We're not close. We may never be the sisters I once dreamed of having, but I've learned that sometimes healing doesn't look like a big apology or a dramatic reunion. Sometimes it's just the decision to stop carrying blame that was never yours in the first place. Now when I hold my baby, I let myself feel the joy fully. I don't hide it. I don't apologize for it. And when I think of my nephew, I send him silent prayers of love and strength. Because both feelings, joy and compassion, can live side by side. And if there's one thing this painful chapter has taught me, it's this. Comparing wounds never heals them. Motherhood isn't a competition. Pain doesn't disappear by handing it to someone else. Her journey is hers. Mine is mine. And both deserve space to exist. So yes, my sister blamed me for her disabled baby. But in the end, I've realized it was never really about me. It was about her grief, her loneliness, her need to be seen. And I can honor that without erasing myself. Because motherhood, in all its messy, heartbreaking, beautiful forms, has room for both of us.